Well, new this morning, school leaders in Hartford are trying to figure out right now how they're going to pay for the district's needs.
The superintendent says there is a $70 million plus shortfall in the budget. Your reporter Taylor Knight live here in the studio breaking down what happened during a virtual workshop in Hartford last night. Taylor.
Well, that meeting looked at next year's school budget and what the district needs from the state in order to operate. They discussed staffing, transportation, and cuts. Discussions continue in Hartford over how to close a projected school budget gap of more than $70 million over the next 2 years. The district says they expect to lose about $16 million in revenue because of federal funding cuts and a decrease in state grants. This as expenses continue to go up. Over the past few years, the district hired more staff, cutting vacancies by about 10%. Teacher salaries have also gone up to prevent those teachers from leaving. Transportation costs have also increased. The district is asking the state to cover transportation costs for students who live in Hartford but attend school outside of the district. Right now, though, the State Board of Education is auditing the district. If you remember last week, the state said that Hartford Schools actually has a surplus. Now the district says the state is referring to it as a potential deficit. There is a public hearing next week. Families will be able to speak at it. However, school leaders said that they won't know more about exactly how much money they'll be receiving from the state until about 3 weeks from now. Your reporter in studio, Taylor Knight, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.